His sisters didn't fight fair. They jumped me, dragged me, kicked me when I was already bleeding. And the worst part? They laughed, like they'd finally put me in my place. But in court? One name on my medical report flipped the entire case upside down.
If you love crazy paybacks and family stories, subscribe and help our channel grow with more shocking revenge stories.
People always assume jealousy fades after marriage, but some women don't lose a brother, they lose power. And his sisters? They felt that loss like a wound they needed someone to blame for. Usually me. From the beginning, they smiled with their teeth, never their eyes. Hugs that felt like traps, compliments that felt like warnings. Little digs hidden under just joking. At first, I thought it was awkwardness, maybe insecurity. But it was resentment, sharp, practiced, and waiting for a moment to bleed through. There were signs, looking back. The way Amber once grabbed my wrist at a family dinner because she needed help passing the plates, except her fingers dug in hard enough to leave marks. The way Leela whispered to her mom every time I spoke, both of them looking at me like I was an inconvenience in their perfect family script. But the worst part wasn't them. It was Ethan, slowly shifting. He used to defend me. Used to pull me closer, kiss my forehead, whisper, "Ignore them, babe." But over time, their poison got to him. It started small, a laugh he shouldn't have laughed, a shrug when I told him they were being cruel. A quiet, "You're overthinking it," after I walked away hurt. The moment I knew things were changing, the night he stood there while his sisters mocked my career, and instead of shutting it down, he actually smiled like he agreed. I remember staring at him, waiting for him to speak up. He didn't. That was the first crack. What came next wasn't a crack. It was the whole foundation giving way. Because jealousy, like theirs, doesn't stay petty forever. It grows teeth. It grows confidence. And one afternoon, the one that changed everything, their fake kindness finally snapped. It happened so fast, I barely had time to scream. Hands, nails, shouting, or laughter twisted with my fear. The sound still rings in my ears. But the real shock didn't come from the beating, or the bruises, or even Ethan choosing their side. It came later, in the hospital, when the nurse handed me my medical report, and the signature at the bottom belonged to someone I never expected. Someone whose name turned the entire case upside down. Someone who should have been on their side, but wasn't. People think sister-in-laws snap overnight. They don't. And that's exactly what his sisters did, one tiny disrespect at a time, just small enough that I kept telling myself, let it go, don't give them the satisfaction. At first it was harmless-sounding things. Wow, that dress is bold. Translation, you look cheap. You cook American food. Ethan hates oily stuff. Translation, your food isn't good enough. Every comment had teeth. Every smile had venom. And Ethan? He laughed. Not loudly, but softly enough to pretend he didn't mean it. Softly enough that I felt the sting anyway. The first real shift happened during his mom's birthday dinner. I showed up with a simple chocolate cake, Ethan's childhood favorite. His sister, Amber, walked right up to me, stared at it, and said, "Oh, you baked. Brave choice." Then she handed mom a massive, over-the-top cake from a luxury bakery with Ethan's favorite cartoon character custom printed on top. Everyone laughed. Ethan gave a half smile. Princess had so much more difficulty. And something inside me cracked, just a hairline fracture, but it was the beginning. From then on, the competition wasn't subtle. If I wore heels, they wore stilettos. If I curled my hair, they got a professional blowout. If I mentioned a promotion at work, they talked about real careers. It was like being stuck in a silent war I didn't sign up for. One afternoon, things escalated in a way I didn't expect. We were all in Ethan's parents' backyard, pretending to be a normal family. Kids running around, grill smoking, fake laughter everywhere. I bent down to tie my daughter's shoe. Just a simple, innocent moment. And Amber accidentally bumped into me from behind. Hard. I fell forward on my hands, gravel cutting into my palms. She gasped dramatically, hand to her chest. "Oh my God, are you always this clumsy?" Everyone chuckled. Ethan didn't help me up. He didn't even move. I pushed myself off the ground, pretending my hands didn't burn, pretending the humiliation didn't sting. But as the day went on, I caught something new, the sisters whispering, glancing at me, smirking like they knew something I didn't. A cold thought formed in my stomach. This wasn't jealousy anymore. This was planning. And I had no idea how close I was to the moment everything would break, because the next time they touched me, it wouldn't be an accident. I wish I could say things calmed down after that day in the backyard, but humiliation is gasoline to women like them. And after Ethan didn't defend me, not even once, his sisters realized something dangerous. I was unprotected. And they acted like they owned that power. The shift started small, the way storms do, a quiet rumble before the sky splits open. I'd walk into the kitchen and they'd stop talking mid-sentence, exchanging that fake little smile women use when they're plotting something petty. One afternoon, I caught a whisper. She cries too easily. No, she breaks too easily. They weren't gossiping anymore. They were studying me. Ethan tried to pretend he didn't notice. He buried himself in work, in chores, and anything that didn't involve choosing side. But choosing nothing was choosing them. The first real break came during family dinner. I reached for the bowl of salad, and her hand, Lila, landed on mine. Not soft, not friendly, firm, possessive. "Let me," she said, smiling too sweetly. "Wouldn't want you to drop something again." The table laughed. Ethan forced a small laugh too, then stopped when he saw my face. But he still didn't say anything. Later, when everyone stepped outside, I pulled him aside. "Ethan, they're crossing lines. Your sisters. They're just intense," he muttered. "You take things personally." I stared at him, because that sentence, that exact sentence, was the moment I realized he wasn't confused. He was conditioning me to stay small. The next morning, a new shift, a sharper one, showed up. Someone had gone through my gym bag. My clothes were on the floor. My perfume bottle opened. A tampon unwrapped and tossed on top, like a message. I knew exactly who did it. And when I looked up, both sisters were standing in the doorway, watching me, waiting for my reaction. Their smiles weren't cruel anymore. They were hungry. That's when the truth settled in my stomach, cold and heavy. They weren't just competing with me anymore. They were testing how far they could push before I broke. And something told me they weren't done, not even close. I tried to convince myself that what happened during that stupid TikTok challenge was the worst it would get. But Amber and Lila were only warming up. The next morning, Ethan acted like nothing happened. Like he didn't watch his sisters corner me, mock me, record me, humiliate me. He kissed my forehead before work, casual as ever, and said, "Try to get along today, please. For me, for him, always for him." When the door clicked shut, silence filled the house. Not peaceful silence, but that eerie, charged quiet I'd started to recognize. Amber's bedroom door creaked open. Leela followed right after, both of them wearing matching smarks, like they'd rehearsed it. "We're cleaning today," Amber announced. "Family effort." Family. That word hit different when people used it like a weapon. I swallowed hard. "Fine." "What do you need me to?" Amber tossed a broom at me so hard it hit my shoulder. Leela laughed softly. Not surprised, not sorry, just entertained. I gripped the broom tighter than I shouldn't. "Don't throw things at me." Amber stepped closer, just enough to make my breath catch. "Oh, relax, Ava. You're so sensitive lately," Leela added. "Maybe if you helped more around here, he wouldn't be so stressed." There it was, the new tactic, turn Ethan's mood into my fault. I tried staying calm as we cleaned, or pretended to, because they didn't actually want help. They wanted reactions. Amber accidentally bumped into me every time I passed her. Leela dropped a full box of dishes at my feet just to make me flinch. Every move felt calculated, rehearsed, deliberate. At one point, Amber leaned in and whispered, "Ethan said you cried last night. How pathetic." My stomach twisted. I hadn't told him I cried, which meant one thing. He did. He told them. He was talking about me behind my back. I felt the heat rise up my throat, but I forced myself to breathe through it. Because if there was one thing I'd learned from all of them, it was that showing pain only made them hungrier. Later, when I tried to leave the room, Leela stepped into the doorway, blocking it with her whole body. "No," she said, eyes cold. "We're not done." That's when I felt it, the shift, the danger sharpening. This wasn't pettiness anymore. This was the moment their jealousy finally turned into intent.
and deep inside my chest, something whispered, "The next line they cross won't be invisible." The house was too quiet. Not peaceful, quiet in that charged, humming way before a storm hits. I stepped inside with my tote on my shoulder, already exhausted, already bracing, because every time Amber and Lila were around, something went wrong. But tonight, I knew the moment I crossed the threshold, something was planned.
Amber was leaning against the kitchen island, scrolling her phone with a smirk. Lila was wiping the already clean counter like she was scrubbing out evidence. Ethan stood near the fridge, arms crossed, jaw flexing, that same look he'd had the night of the game. My stomach tightened. "Hey," I said softly. No one replied. Lila finally looked up, slow, deliberate, and her lips curled. "You're late," she said. I checked the clock. It's 6:07. Amber snorted. "Yeah, late." The air felt wrong. Thick, heavy, like walking into a room where everyone had been talking about you seconds before. Ethan didn't look at me. He shifted his weight, avoided eye contact, and said, "We need to talk." A cold ripple slid down my spine. "About what?" Amber folded her arms. Lila smirked. Ethan swallowed. "This attitude of yours," he said quietly. "It has to stop." My breath caught. My attitude? Amber stepped closer, close enough that her perfume felt like a slap. "You embarrass Ethan," she said. "You make scenes. You act like a victim all the time." I blinked. "What scenes?" "You shoved me at the barbecue," Lila laughed, a sharp slicing sound. "Oh my God," she said. "You still think that was us?" Wow. A knot formed in my throat. Ethan finally looked up. "Ava, they told me what really happened," he said. "You tripped. You fell because you weren't watching where you were going." The room spun. "Ethan, you saw," he cut me off. "I also saw you start drama over nothing." The betrayal hit so hard my knees almost buckled. Amber's eyes gleamed, Lila's smile stretched, and something in me, something I had been choking down for weeks, cracked. "I'm not doing this anymore," I whispered. Amber stepped directly in front of me, blocking my way to the stairs. "Yeah," she murmured. "You're not." Her finger tapped my chest. "Because tonight, you're finally going to learn your place." Ethan didn't stop her. He didn't say a word, just looked away. And in that moment, in that suffocating, ice-cold silence, I knew, whatever was coming, they had planned it together. And I was alone. For now. Amber's laugh was the first thing I heard when we walked through the door. Not a normal laugh. Not the kind people make when they're happy. It was the sharp, knowing kind. The one she used when she already planned something and just needed me to step into it. Lila stood beside her, arms crossed, eyebrows already raised like she was grading my presence. Ethan didn't notice. Or pretended not to. He stepped ahead, dropped his keys in the bowl, and said, "Just keep things smooth tonight, okay?" Smooth. The word stung more than it should have. Amber met my eyes. She smirked. That was my first warning. The second came when I walked into the kitchen and saw 2 mugs on the table, both matching the set Ethan once told me was too expensive for us. Amber and Leela had gifted it to him last Christmas, and he kept those mugs hidden until now, apparently saved for them. Leela leaned against the counter. "So, Ava, you're late." "I wasn't aware this was a timed event," I said, trying to keep my voice even. Amber clicked her tongue. She's sensitive today. That word again, sensitive, their favorite dagger. Ethan finally stepped between us. "Guys, not tonight." His voice was thin, weak, barely a whisper compared to theirs. The third warning came when Amber opened the fridge and slid a tray toward me. "Hold this," she said. I grabbed it and nearly dropped it. The thing was scalding hot. A wave of heat hit my palms so fast tears sprang to my eyes. "It just came out of the oven," Lila said sweetly. "You should have been more careful." Amber watched every flicker of pain on my face, and she smiled. Ethan didn't even turn. He didn't see my hand shaking, or he didn't want to. My heart thudded in my chest, not from the burn, but from the realization that they weren't even pretending anymore. They weren't hiding hostility. They weren't slipping it in quietly. This was open season. When dinner started, they positioned the chairs so I was boxed in. Amber on my left, Lila on my right, Ethan across the table like a useless referee. And then Amber leaned over, brushing my shoulder. "Relax," she murmured. "We're just getting started."
I froze, because the look in her eyes wasn't petty rivalry, it was intent. And for the first time, I felt it in my bones. Whatever they planned next wasn't just going to hurt my feelings, it was going to hurt me. The house felt wrong the second Ava stepped inside. Not loud, not chaotic. Just wrong. Like the air itself was holding its breath. Amber and Lila were already in the living room, sitting too close together on the couch, whispering, their voices cut off the moment they noticed her. Their smiles were thin, stretched, rehearsed. Ethan looked up from his phone, startled, like he hadn't expected her to come home this early. "Hey," he said, standing too fast. "You, doing okay?" Ava blinked. "Why wouldn't I be?" Amber's smirk twitched. "Well, after earlier today, we figured you might still be sensitive." Lila giggled. "Yeah, some people just bruise easier." Ava said nothing. She walked past them, but she could feel their eyes crawling up her spine. Something was off. Something was planned. Ethan followed her into the kitchen, voice low. "Ava, just don't start anything tonight, okay? They're trying." She stared at him. "Trying what? To pretend?" He swallowed. "Please, not now." She almost asked what he meant, but the sound from the living room froze her mid-breath. Amber whispering, "Is the camera still behind the vase?" Lila replying, same angle as before. She won't notice." Ava's blood went cold. She stepped into the doorway. "What camera?" Both sisters jerked their heads up, caught off guard. Amber played innocent instantly. "Camera? Ava, what?" But Lila was slower at lying. Her eyes darted toward the corner shelf. Ava marched over and pulled the ceramic vase aside. A small lens stared back at her. Her stomach dropped. Her nerves buzzed. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. "Why?" Ava whispered. "Is there a camera pointed at where I sit?" Amber's voice was sugary poison. "Relax. It's for a vlog we're planning." "A vlog," Ava repeated. "In my house." Ethan rushed in. "Ava, calm down, okay?" She turned to him slowly. "You knew?" His face said everything. He didn't speak. He didn't deny it. He didn't look at her. That silence was the knife. "Delete it," Ava said, trembling. "Right now." Lila shrugged. "Why? You looked fine." "Mostly." Amber added, "Yeah, don't be dramatic. Besides, tonight's the real fun anyway." Ethan's head snapped toward his sisters. Amber, as if tonight was already decided, and Ava realized this wasn't random cruelty anymore. They were building something, setting something up, preparing for a night she wouldn't forget, a night she might not walk away from. Module 9. The name and the report. I don't remember getting in the car. I don't remember the drive. All I remember is the hospital lights flickering above me like judgmental eyes, and Ethan refusing to look at me. Amber and Lila sat across the hallway, whispering, their faces blotchy with fake tears. Fake. Everything about them was fake except the bruises they left on me. Gad arrived first. He didn't ask what happened. He saw it. His jaw tightened, his hands balled. But when the nurse handed me the clipboard with shaking fingers, Dad's anger froze into something colder, sharper. "Ava, honey, sign here," she said gently, but her eyes flicked to Ethan, then to his sisters, then back to the chart. Suspicion, pity, something deeper. When the nurse left, Dad leaned in. "Ava, did you read the top line?" I frowned. "It's my medical intake form. Read. The top." I looked again, really looked, and my stomach dropped so hard I almost gagged. Listed right under emergency contact, right beside the line where my name should have been, was someone else's handwriting. Not mine, not Ethan's, not the nurse's. It was a signature I hadn't seen in years. Spiky, tilted. Familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. My ex-best friend. The one Amber claimed would love to replace me. The one they always compared me to. The one who suddenly started visiting Ethan's family more often. The one who blocked me last month for being dramatic. Her name, on my medical form, signed as if she was family. I felt the world tilt, sounds warping like underwater echoes. Ethan stepped forward, voice cracking. "Ava, I can explain." Dad snapped toward him. "Shut your mouth." Amber and Lila shot up from their chairs like puppets yanked by strings. "It wasn't a big deal," Amber said quickly. "We were just helping." "Helping?" Dad growled. "You had another woman listed as Ava's emergency medical authority? You forged paperwork at a hospital? Lila swallowed hard, mascara smearing.
She said she was close to Ethan, we thought. You thought you could erase Ava, Dad finished, voice low, dangerous. The hallway fell silent. My pulse pounded in my ears. My breath came in short, terrified bursts. And for the first time, Ethan didn't look confused. He looked caught. My voice came out shaky, almost a whisper. Why is her name on my file, Ethan? He opened his mouth, but behind him, I saw Amber's eyes widen at something over my shoulder. Something, or someone, was coming, and that's when I knew. The truth wasn't done with us yet. The courtroom was colder than I expected, not in temperature, but in energy. A hush fell as we walked in, me, Dad, and my attorney. Across the aisle sat Amber and Lila, both wearing the fakest innocent expressions I had ever seen. Ethan sat beside them, shoulders hunched, eyes glued to the table like a child waiting for punishment. For once, they weren't laughing. The clerk called the case number. The judge entered. Everyone stood. My stomach twisted, not from fear, but from remembering the pain, the bruises, the humiliation they thought would stay hidden forever. But today, their secret had a name. Miss Ava, the judge said, we've reviewed your medical records. Would you please confirm the injuries documented during the incident in question? I nodded, my voice steady. Yes, Your Honor. My attorney stood, holding the thick folder of medical reports, the same ones that changed everything. Your Honor, she said, the ER physician who treated Ava documented something significant on page 2. A name. A name signed on the mandatory assault report. Amber shifted in her seat. Lila's foot tapped rapidly. My attorney continued. Per state law, medical staff must document the identified aggressor when injuries clearly point to an attack. Ethan finally looked up, pale, sweating. And that name, my attorney said, turning the document toward the judge, is Amber Hastings. Amber's mouth fell open. Lila grabbed her arm in panic. Ethan muttered, Amber, you told me she pushed you! But my attorney wasn't done. There's more, Your Honor. The report also includes a second name, the individual who assisted in restraining the victim. Lila's eyes went wide. No! No, no, no! The judge read the line. He looked over his glasses, unimpressed. Assistant aggressor, Lila Hastings. The room exploded. Amber gasped. Lila started crying. Ethan looked like someone had pulled the ground out from under him. My heart hammered, not from fear, but from justice finally breathing through the cracks they tried to bury me under. And lastly, my attorney said, her voice slicing through the chaos, the doctor noted the injuries were inconsistent with Amber and Lila's original claims. They lied, and they did so on record. The judge's gavel banged for order. Based on documented medical evidence, he said firmly, charges will proceed accordingly. Restraining orders are approved. Formal investigation begins immediately. I exhaled, the weight finally lifting. Amber glared at me. Lila hid behind her hands. Ethan whispered, Ava, I didn't know. I looked him dead in the eye. You never wanted to know. As we walked out, Dad placed a hand on my shoulder. You did good, kid. No bruises, no fear, no more silence. I wasn't the woman they beat down. I was the woman who stood up and let the truth do the rest.